Yo, imagine waking up tomorrow, checking your banking app, and seeing a balance of $100 trillion. You'd be thinking, I'm the richest human to ever breathe. You're buying the yacht, the private island, the NBA team, the whole nine yards, right? Well, back in 2008, for the people of Zimbabwe, that dream was a straight-up nightmare. Having $1 trillion didn't mean you were living like Jeff Bezos. It meant you could maybe afford a pack of gum, if the shopkeeper felt like being nice that day. We're talking about a level of financial collapse so crazy, people were literally using their money as wallpaper because the paper it was printed on was worth more than the value written on it. How does a country go from being the breadbasket of Africa, a place that was actually thriving, to a place where prices were doubling every 24 hours? This isn't just a boring history lesson. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when the people in charge decide to treat the money printer like a cheat code in a video game. Today, we're breaking down the Zimbabwe Currency Collapse. In the 1980s, Zimbabwe was actually doing its thing. They had great farmland, a solid education system, and their currency, it was actually stronger than the US dollar at one point. Crazy, right? But then, the leadership, headed by a guy named Robert Mugabe, started making some, let's call them, questionable choices. They started a land reform program. Now, on paper, the goal was to fix the leftover issues from the colonial era, but in reality, it was a disaster. They took highly productive farms and handed them to people who had zero experience in commercial farming. Production didn't just dip, it evaporated. Suddenly, the country that used to feed its neighbors couldn't even feed itself. When you have no food, but everyone still needs to eat, prices start to climb. That's inflation 101. So the government is broke. They owe money to the army, they owe money to other countries, and the people are hurting. Instead of fixing the farms or balancing the budget, they decided to pull the ultimate rookie move. They just started printing more money. Lots of it. Now, if you're 18 or 50, you know the vibes. If everyone has $1 million, but there are only 10 loaves of bread in the whole city, that bread isn't going to cost $1 anymore. It's going to cost 100,000. The government didn't care. They just added more zeros. And this is where things get hyper. We're talking hyperinflation. At its peak in 2008, inflation in Zimbabwe was hitting, get this, 79 billion% per month. Shopkeepers literally stopped using price tags. Why? Because by the time you walked from the front of the store to the milk aisle, the price had already gone up. People were getting paid their salary at lunch and sprinting to the store to spend it immediately, because by dinner time, that paycheck would be worth half as much. The Zim dollar became a joke. People started using US dollars, South African rand, or even bars of soap to trade. The government eventually just gave up and printed a $100 trillion note. It's the highest denomination ever printed for a legal currency. Today, you can buy them on eBay as a souvenir for like 100 USD. Talk about irony.
So, what's the reward for sitting through this financial horror movie? The reward is perspective. When you understand why Zimbabwe collapsed, you start to see the red flags in the global economy today. You realize that value isn't about the number on the paper, it's about the trust behind it. Zimbabwe eventually had to kill their own currency and start over. Multiple times. In 2024, they even tried a new one backed by gold called the ZiG. They're still trying to win back that trust. Here is your takeaway gold. Scarcity is king. Anything that can be printed infinitely eventually becomes worthless. Productivity is queen. A country is only as wealthy as the stuff it actually produces. If you made it this far, you're now officially smarter than the people who ran Zimbabwe's central bank in 2008. If you want more deep dives into the craziest money stories in history, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Stay smart, stay liquid, and for the love of God, don't try to print your way out of a problem.